Welcome back to Red Hawk Media's Virtual Academy. We are up to day 15 here of our quarantine, and as we're taking a look at instruction today, just a quick few reminders for everything, an overview of stuff that we have to get in and turn in, deadlines that are coming up. This is the first place that we'll start. Let me send this on over here. And here we go. All right, so upcoming dates that we've got here. For today, video productions, news piece, segment story is due today. And then looking forward to Friday, we've got web design, at some point scheduling and doing a client walkthrough of the Red Hawk Media site. And then finally, we've got the level 3 game over, which is scheduled for the weekend here. And that's just adding on a game over sequence so that that's all in place. And then we've got game design, which takes us through the weekend as well. And that is looking at adding audio to our 2D games. And that's kind of a quick once over on all of this. Now, another quick reminder, from 11 to noon each day, I'm on Google Meet. If you have any questions, you're having technical difficulties, check in at that time and hop on there. I just sit on there the whole time for that duration, and you can connect with me then. Okay, excellent. We're going to hop out of here, and that's going to take us over to Digital Media. Okay, and Digital Media 2 right now is working on, let me send this. Digital Media 2 has been working on their game and kind of giving you a quick look at what we've been working on here, so that we know where we are. All right. And here we go. All right, so here's our game as is, and I've been working on this a little bit, just tweaking a few things, trying some different stuff. And we've got our character that interacts with the spikes, takes our life up in the upper left-hand corner. And then when we get all the way to the end, this is what we're working towards. We want to have a game over screen that actually pops up. So once our health gets to 0, this pops up, and then we can click the button that allows us to play again. Now, I have not got any script on this button yet, so I won't be able to hop back in there. Now, in addition to that, some other things that we worked on yesterday, which I may just clear up a little bit, is some health and adding health. If anybody added on the extra health thing in here, and this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and take some damage here. And then we have our extra health. Okay, and I can hit that and it takes me back up to 100%. Okay, so now I've got 100% of health. We've got our coins, and I did have a lot of fun with this here. Just trying different things out with the design, and I think I can even shoot. Yep. And it takes out that pillar. All kinds of fun stuff here that we have ahead. So we'll start with a few of the questions that came up over the last couple days. And if you don't get the questions answered here, you can always hop onto Google Meet. And here's the first one. People who are working to put on their dying animation. Okay, and with their dying animation, they noticed that there were some layers that were different from the tutorial. Now that tutorial is older, it's an older character, and it's got a few things that look slightly different, but the process is basically the same. Here's what I'm talking about. We have our character, the character robot boy, and when you select that and you go into the animator, here's our animator right now, and we got all those animations that are going on. And then we've got these parameters, and the question that came up is, in the tutorial you were supposed to go to the layers, and then there was an air layer that was supposed to be in there. On the character Robot Boy, all the animations are on one layer. So once you set up that dead animation in here, and let me zoom in again on that, and there we go. Oh, that's the shoot one. There it is, dead. So when you set this up, you only have to do that on the one layer. That's all you have to worry about. Again, the dead animation should be included with your sprite animations. The tutorial goes through how to create that animation, drag it in here, and then how to create this transition. And this was the other question that came up. In order to see the conditions that you need to add on for is dead, what I'm talking about is the parameters here. When I go over here, we had to create this parameter, is dead, and it's bool. And that relates directly to the code. So when your current health reaches 0, this gets triggered as true, which means that your character can then play the dead animation. Okay, and in order to see any of those things, you have to have the actual transition selected. And then over on the right side here, we will notice that is dead is one of those conditions that we can add on there. You just click the plus sign, add on whatever the condition is that you need to add on, and then set it to the value you need to. One last thing here, because a lot of people missed this as well, and we're having weird problems where they were running along and randomly their character was just dying or playing the dead animation. In your settings, again, I've got the transition selected here, but over in my settings, if I zoom in here, and then I scroll down in those settings, let's see here, yep, here it is. There is a setting called can transition. I'll drag this out so you can see it. Can transition to self. And this is checked by default. We don't want that checked. We don't want it to automatically transition by itself to that dead animation. We want it to be on that condition. So if you're having problems where it's just randomly playing the death animation, make sure you uncheck this. Okay, and other than that, if you have any other questions related to the dead animation, make sure that you ask me. And then, of course, the last part of all this is, which is what you're working on now, and this is the actual game over tutorial. Again, these tutorials are listed in the description below, and they have the link right in there. And then when you get to the tutorial, walk through all of the steps, and then any references to any assets that you need, scripts, things like that that you need to download, those are in the description of that tutorial, so you can grab those. They're all, it's easy, makes it easy. Okay, so taking a look at this, the last thing that we are creating is with this tutorial, you're creating a game over thing. Right now I have it disabled because that's what the code is going to do, is when I get to 0 on my health, I'm going to play my death animation, and then this is going to actually pop up. Okay, and when this pops up, it'll allow me to add buttons on here, and then I'm going to be able to click on those buttons to start the game again or go back to the main menu. It's going to talk a lot about menu things. And in the description of that tutorial, they talk about the menu action script that's in there for the download. Just checked that last night, and it should be all good to go. Yeah, excellent. So one thing that I'm going to correct from yesterday is, if you followed me with the extra health thing, you may have noticed that if you duplicated your extra health, if you got one of them, it deactivated all the rest of them, or it made all the rest of them disappear. Okay, and that's just a simple line of code that we're going to move to another place. And this is what I was talking about right here. Take this on over, put this up to full screen, and player health. We are looking at the player health script. And on the player health, we have been adding in a number of things. Let me zoom in so we can see. So we've got our spikes, we've got the acid, and then we have actually health going on here. Okay, now I changed a few things in the code, so if you want to, this is what you would go about changing, is right here. Above the void update, this is what you would add in, and this is new. If you're not doing the extra health, don't worry about this whatsoever, but this would be a great place to go ahead and pause and then type this in. Again, this is right below our spikes, acid, and you can see there's a closing bracket for the if statement and then the closing bracket for that whole thing. And then when we start with all this, this is the new part that you would actually add on. And what this will allow you to do is actually get that health properly. And it won't destroy it here. So there's one more change that we're going to make. This is second change. So change one, pause, type this in, save your player health. Okay, second change would be this one. And let me zoom out here and go right over to my health script. Okay, and this is what we called our extra health script yesterday during the tutorial, those of you that walked through this. And what we want to add in is something really simple to this script, and I'm going to just highlight that so that you can see that, and then maybe you can pause here. This would be step 2. Again, we're on the extra health script. You're adding this in towards the bottom here. You can see you're starting a new function, and that function just says that when you collide with the health object, it's going to check whether or not you are tagged player. So it's going to see if it's your character Robot Boy, and then it's going to destroy your game object. Again, this is all case sensitive, so make sure that you get that typed in properly, and that should pretty much set it all up. You're going to save the two things, and then when you hop back in here, the nice part is now you will be able to use multiple healths. There we go. All right, and let me hop over to the game, and this is what it'll look like when it's all done. Let me deactivate my game over thing here, and then hop back in here, play. And now that we're in here, I can take damage, okay, and then I can collect this health, and then if I take damage again later, let's say I take more damage there in the acid, a lot of stuff going on here, and then I go ahead and shoot, oh, I was touching the acid, I died. Okay, but if you have more health things, you can go ahead, pick those up, and then walk through the steps for the tutorial today. And that's pretty much it for Digital Media 2. That should pretty much wrap it up. Very fitting that we say game over. By the way, before I move on, music this morning in the intro provided by, I have to look back at my notes here, sorry. Who is that provided by? That was provided by... That was provided by Jake. Thank you, Jake. Well done. And we are moving on here. So I'm going to move on to web design and clear that and send that over here. And in web design, the big thing is that I have a meeting today. I have 2 meetings tomorrow. Schedule those meetings with me so we can go over your website, click through that, see all the functionality. You are to initiate that meeting. Email me with the information. I'll send you the link for the Google Meet and confirm the time, and then we will sit down and go through all that stuff, and that's kind of our plan here. Excellent. So that moves us on. That's web design. Remember, your deadline for that is by Friday midnight. So we've got all today, all tomorrow to get that taken care of. Web design, reach out to me. I've got like a 4 or 5 people that have been very on top of everything, and then I've got about 3 or 4 people that have not so much been on top of things. So get that taken care of. Excellent. Moving on to game design then. Okay, this is another chance for me to kind of highlight one of the games. With game design, we've been working on those menus, making it more of a complete functional experience with your game. And this is one of them that I'm going to put up here. And this is L-Tones. And L-Tone's been working on the Line Surfer game, and you can see he's got his menu worked in there with play, options, and quit. and he can select the options and go in and adjust sound. He can quit out of the application itself, and then he can go into play. Now when he's actually in play mode here, he can actually pause as well, and he's got his whole pause menu that works nicely, and he can head back to the main menu, or he can resume play. And that's just something quick that I can show you there for game design. That pretty much, let's see here, and new assignment for game design, let me bring this back over here, is in Unity, and let's see here, clear that, sorry, and there we go. In Unity, we are working on sound. A lot of you have some pretty elaborate games at this point with multiple levels and your character does a lot of stuff, but the one thing that's probably missing is audio. So we're going to work on getting that audio added in there. You can drag pretty much any kind of audio into Unity. MP3s work especially well because of the small file size, and I've got a tutorial that's listed in the description below that's going to help walk you through all of that, because there's a few steps, and depending on how you want to work that into your actual game, it might do different things for you as well. So take a look at that tutorial. Again, it's in the description. And then the assignment is also created on Schoology, so you'll be able to hop on Schoology, get all the information there as well, and you'll see the deadline is throughout this weekend, and then we're looking at Monday, Sunday night, 11:59, should be all done with the audio. Okay, and that's getting really, really close to being done with the game, and then I'm going to show you how to build that thing out so that we can be done with the 2D game and move on. Okay, excellent. Thanks for being patient with all those steps. Very difficult virtually here. All right, so taking us over to video production 2. Video production, the big thing that you're responsible for, as I look at my notes here, you have a news segment that you should be recording. It is due by the end of today. You're getting that all put together, whether it's you out doing a piece, you going out and interviewing someone, shouldn't be going out and interviewing, but connecting with someone to interview. I showed yesterday that the best way to record your interview in Google Meet is to use QuickTime and just do a screen capture. If you need to get audio, use your phone. And then in Zoom, I included a link in the description below that shows you step-by-step how to go ahead and record your meeting. If you are the admin of a Zoom meeting, you can record. Otherwise, if you are joining a Zoom meeting, you can always request to record that. And whoever the administrator is of that meeting can approve that and say, yeah. Okay, excellent. So get those recorded, reach out to the people that you need to reach out to today, and let's get that done. Turned in by the end of today is what we're looking at for video production. Okay, perfect. So then that moves us on to Digital Media 1. Okay. And with Digital Media 1, you guys have been doing a great job with all of the songs. You should have Song 1, Song 2, and Song 3 turned in by now. Okay, and all of those have different things that are included on there. Go back to Schoology, look at what's supposed to be on each one of those. You're just turning in your MP3. I've gone through that process of how to export a number of times as an MP3. If you have any questions with it, hop onto Google Meet and we can talk through those. Also, if you're still one of the few outliers, it's got to be next to nil right now, but anybody that's still having a problem with loops in GarageBand, reach out to me and then we can get that fixed right away. It's a really easy fix actually, and it takes all of just a few seconds, so get a hold of me and let me know that. Today I scheduled Song 4 as one of your assignments. And in Song 4, you're going to be hopping into GarageBand, and you're going to be following the GarageBand Basics Part 5 tutorial. I know that we skipped Part 4. Part 4 doesn't really have any relevance to us anymore. It's about ringtones, and nobody creates ringtones anymore. And the few people that get ringtones get them from their service providers, or they're already included on their phone. So that doesn't have a whole lot of relevance anymore, so we're skipping right to Part 5. It's in the description below, the tutorial that you're supposed to be using in Schoology. Make sure that you check that out so you can get that taken care of. And it's got all the requirements in there. This time for your song, a little bit different. You will be screen recording your song because it's a song plus a visualizer. And we're going to show you how to take that song out of GarageBand, move it over to iTunes, use the visualizer in there, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of how a lot of like low-end lyric videos are kind of put together, where it's just visualization that's in the background. Okay, excellent. Well, that is pretty much taken me to the end of everything. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. I believe we're all set. If you have any questions, if you have any needs, hop on to Google Meet. I'm on there automatically from 11 to noon. I'm happy to schedule a time with you if that doesn't work. Just email me. We'll coordinate so that we can meet up and go through any questions, any problems that you're having, technical difficulties, you name it. I'm here for you. So, excellent. I think that's about it, which takes us to our little outro here. And today's outro is by Jacob. He's got the music here. And Jacob, nice job on this one. Again, another solid example of Digital Media One's work here. And at this point, I'm going to send that on over. And I look forward to seeing you guys again here. This is another Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy, and I'm wrapping up day 15. Bye.